Welcome everyone to our class today. You are going to learn very useful English phrases for daily conversations. And you're going to do this in a listen and repeat style. Now, this is so you can shadow me and so you can learn the correct pronunciation, natural pronunciation, so you sound like a native. Now, you'll listen to me say it fast, how I would use it in everyday spoken English, and then you'll listen slow so I can explain the pronunciation changes, what the expressions mean, answer your questions as well. And then you'll listen fast again and make sure you repeat after me. So let's take a situation where you're at the salon or at the barber's. Now, do you know what the difference is between the salon and the barbers? And notice that pronunciation of salon, salon, salon. And barbers has a possessive here because it's technically the barber shop, but in spoken English, we just say the barbers, the barbers. Now we have the apostrophe S to let you know it's their shop because the barber is a person. Now, a salon is generally the female term, and then barbers is generally the male term. Okay, so let's learn some useful vocabulary. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure really what men say at the barber shop. So I'll focus probably more a little bit on what women say at the salon. And if you're watching and you're a man or even a woman, but you know some expressions for the barber shop, feel free to share them as well. So let's say you're at the salon or you're at the barber's and a friend calls you. Now you pick up, but you say, I'll call you later. I'm just getting a haircut. I'm getting a haircut. So I'll say it fast again. I'll call you later. I'm just getting a haircut. I'll call you later. I'm just getting a haircut. Okay, so now I'll say it slowly and we'll talk about the pronunciation. We'll talk about the meaning as well. I'll call you later. Notice how unstressed that is. I'll call you later. Now, what verb tense is this in? I'll call. It's the future simple because I'm making a commitment, a commitment. And that's why it's in the future simple. We use the future simple for promises and commitments. It's like saying, I promise I'll call you later. I promise I will do this action. So again, that contraction, very unstressed, all. I'll call you later. I'll call you later. I'm just getting a haircut. Now, notice this is in the present continuous because in this case, the action is taking place now. Now, we use the expression to get a haircut when someone else is cutting your hair. So this can be for men and women. I'm getting a haircut. I'm getting a haircut. I just got my haircut. That would be the past simple. So someone might say, oh, you look different. And you can say, oh, I just got a haircut. I just got a haircut. Okay, so notice a haircut. Haircut is a noun. It's a something. I'm just getting a haircut. So the verb is get. I need to get a haircut. All right. Yeah, Alexander, I would use the verb get. I'm getting my haircut. You could say I'm having my haircut, but it's more common to say get. I'm getting a haircut. Yeah, in Llama, maybe they asked for a famous player's hairstyle. Exactly. That's a great one. Thanks for sharing. Now, what if you go into the barber or the salon, or you go into your favorite cafe, your favorite restaurant, and you are a regular customer there, and you can say, just the usual today, just the usual today, just the usual today. So notice the usual this would mean what you usually get. So if you get your nails done every week or every 2 weeks, or you get your hair cut every month, or you go to the cafe on the corner of your street every day, the usual is what you regularly, routinely, usually get or order depending on the context. Just the usual today, just the usual today. Yeah, I'm in. You could say nothing new, nothing new. So if you always just get clear nail polish, that's what you want. Again, if you're a male and you always get your beard trimmed, that's what you'll get today. Nothing new, just the usual, just the usual. You don't have to say today, that's optional. You could say just the usual, just the usual. So you don't need to say today, but you can. Okay, so I'll say it slow. I don't think there's much to talk about with pronunciation. Just the usual today. So notice we have just and then the. Because they both start with T, you can just use one T. Just the, just the, just the, just the usual today. Just the usual today. Okay. How about this one? This is similar to the last one. If you say nothing fancy, it's like saying, as always, I'll get the same thing I always get, or nothing new. Something fancy represents something new or different in this context. So if I always just get a trim, then I could say nothing fancy, just a trim. Maybe something fancy would be getting a completely different style, or dyeing my hair, or if it were my nails, then getting fake nails instead of just my regular nails. So something different, unique, outstanding. You can think of it like that. Nothing fancy, just a trim. So if you go to a coffee shop, you can say nothing fancy, just a coffee, because at a lot of cafes, they have very fancy coffees with a lot of different flavors or different preparation methods. So you can say, oh, nothing fancy, just a coffee, just a coffee. Nothing fancy, just a trim. Okay. How about this one? Now, this could be for men as well. Again, men, feel free to share some expressions that you use at the barber shop, but this can also be used for women. So just clean up the split ends. Remember, we're at the salon, we're at the barber shop. What do you think it means by clean up? By clean up the split ends. So maybe you can go in and say, just clean up my beard, or clean up my nails. So what does that mean based on the context I just explained? Of course, we're not talking about using soap and water. It means, in this context, it means if you have a beard and you say, clean up my beard, it means to make it in a tidy, organized look. So maybe your beard is quite long and bushy and you want to clean it up, make it look neat and organized, neat and organized. So that's what that would mean. So just clean up the split ends. It means, so split ends, that is the dead hair as your hair grows out. So generally there would be maybe this much, that is dead hair. So if I say just clean up the split ends, I'm telling the person to only cut the minimum amount of hair to remove the split ends. So that's what it would mean here. Okay, so I'll say this slowly. Just clean up, clean up. So notice that N you can hear on both sounds. Just clean up the split ends, split ends. So this T for split is between two vowels. So when I say it as one word, then I can turn that T into a soft D and more say split ends, dens. So I put a little bit of a D on the ends, split ends, split ends, split ends, split ends. Yeah, Emmanuel, you're right. It means just cut the end of the hair, the last part. Yeah, exactly, the ends. So you can refer to these as the ends, the split ends. And split ends means dead hair. So you don't want to go into a salon and they say, "Oh, wow, you have a lot of split ends." That's like saying you have a lot of dead hair. Your hair is not in very good condition, is another way of saying that. I wonder if beards get split ends. Probably. I'm not sure. I don't have one. Let's move on to the next one. Now, I'm sure men can use this as well. Maybe not with a beard. I've never heard of this with a beard, but maybe it could become something fashionable. But you can say, "Can you add some layers? Can you add some layers?" I'll say it fast again. "Can you add some layers?" Does anyone know what layers means in the context of hair? Can you add some layers? Can you? So this can, because it's the auxiliary verb, it will sound like an unstressed can you add, you add. So we have a little bit of a W sound to connect you, add, you add, you add, you add. Now, Trucker Martin, not extensions. Extra hair, I think maybe extra hair is more extensions. So extensions would be, so right now my hair is this long. And if I leave the salon and my hair is magically this long, this amount would be extensions. It's fake hair. It's a nice way of saying fake hair. And they can attach fake hair to make my hair look longer than it is. That would be extensions. But layers and extensions are not the same thing. So, Sahar, you said you don't like layers. So, why don't you explain to everyone what layers are? Can you add some layers? Some layers, layers. So, of course, in the meaning of the word layer is when you put one thing on top of another. That would be to layer. I'm not sure if that is exactly the same as in the meaning of hair, but layers is when there are different lengths of hair. Yeah, and Sahar got it. The lengths are different. The lengths are different. So, generally it starts a little bit shorter and then it goes longer, longer, longer. And someone said, yeah, to add some volume because it can make your hair seem bigger. So add some volume. And Felipe, yeah, so different sections. Exactly, exactly. So maybe the hairstylist could ask you, "Do you want me to add some layers? Do you want me to add some layers?" And then you can say yes, or you can say no, no thanks. No no thanks. Okay. Now, layers is not the same as dyed hair. So layers is just having different sections of different lengths in your hair. I don't know if this is common for men, to be honest. I think your hair has to be somewhat longer to have layers. But there are some men with long hair, of course. Now, dyed hair, dyed. So someone could ask you, "Do you dye your hair? Do you dye your hair?" "Oh, I love your hair color." Is that natural? So they might ask you, oh, is that natural? Is your hair color natural? Which is the hair color you were born with. And you can say, no, it's not natural. So that means you dye your hair. Now, notice the spelling. The pronunciation is exactly as the same as to dye when someone is no longer living, but the spelling is different. So the pronunciation is the same. So if tomorrow you see me and I have black hair, you know I dyed my hair. So to change the color of your hair. And I think men dye their hair, including their beards as well. Okay, now everyone, I have a free speaking guide for you. In this guide, I share 6 steps on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can go to my website, jforrestenglish.com/free guide, and you can request it. It will be emailed to you absolutely free. Now, are you enjoying this lesson? I want to make sure you enjoy where I teach you everyday vocabulary I use in my daily life. So if this is beneficial to you, you want me to keep creating lessons like this, then make sure you like the lesson, subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson, every time I go live, and put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments below so I know you like this lesson. All right, now let's go on to our next section, parenting. Okay, so what are some expressions you can use as a parent? I'm sure many of you are parents. And if you're not, don't worry. I'll explain how you can use this same structure or same style in your everyday life as well. And woohoo, Horatio likes the lesson, Lama, Ivana, a fellow Jennifer, Dorothy, Rashid, Enrique. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay. So yeah, parenting. I guess I thought that was obvious one, but when you look after children, so this is kind of used as a verb to parent, because it's in the ing form. So you know it's a verb form. So parenting represents the concept of being a parent. So a parent, that is the noun, a parent. And then being a parent, to be, that is the verb. But in this context, it's actually using the word parent as a verb, parenting, the concept of being a parent, of taking care of children, of looking after children. And yes, Esra, the book is absolutely free. You just enter your name and email, and it will be emailed to you instantly. Okay, so let's talk about some parenting expressions. So the husband could say to the wife, or the wife to the husband, or the mother to an older child. Reminder that parent-teacher night is on Thursday. Reminder. So don't worry if you don't have kids, because this is still an excellent structure that you can use. So notice this starts with reminder. Reminder is a noun, okay? So you could use an article and say a reminder, but we generally start this with saying reminder. Now, what would be the verb form? Does anyone know? If reminder is a noun, how could I replace this with a verb? So I'll wait for you to put that in the comments and I'll explain the rest. So reminder that parent-teacher night is on Thursday. Now you could, in a work context, you could say reminder that the project is due next week. Or with your friends, reminder that we're having lunch tomorrow. Okay, yes. Remember. Exactly. So remind is a verb as well, to remind, but in this context, it would not work. Does anyone know why? This may be a more advanced concept. So no, the verb is not to remind, because saying remind The parent teacher night is on Thursday does not make any sense. But one person, wow, most of the students did not have it. Okay, one student said remember. So that is the correct one. Yes. Way to go. You are so far the only student to get this. So grammatically, you must say, remember that parent teacher night is on Thursday. So perhaps sorry if I said that wrong, you can explain why it is remember. Okay. Now, I could use remind, but I would have to change the sentence. Remind does not work with what I wrote. I could change the sentence a little bit to use the verb remind, but it does not work. Remember that parent teacher night is on Thursday. Now remember, reminder is a noun, reminder. So you give someone a reminder, which is the same as to remind someone. And that is why using remind as a verb does not work, because remind as a verb requires an object. So to use remind, you would have to say, remind your father, remind John, remind your wife that parent teacher night is on Thursday. You have to remind someone else. Okay. But remember does not require an object. So you say to the person, remember, bring the information to your mind. Remember that parent teacher night is on Thursday. Okay. So you are reminding someone of an important event. Now, parent teacher night is a meeting between the parents and the teachers. So you generally go to your kid's school once a month, once every season, and you have a conversation with the teacher about your children. So that is parent teacher night. Okay. All right. So again, remember, if you don't have kids, this is still a great expression to use. Reminder that the report is due on Thursday. Now, as a verb, remember that the report is due on Thursday. That is in the imperative. It starts with the base verb because I'm giving you an instruction. And this is the noun form. All right, everyone. Excellent job. It seems like some students need to review the difference between remember and remind because they are not interchangeable. And it would be grammatically correct to use remind in this exact sentence. Let's go to the next one. Just a heads up that Cindy has a play date at Ashley's tonight. Okay, what is a play date? Have you heard that terminology? They use it in movies a lot. So again, even if you don't have kids, you will hear this language a lot in movies, TV shows. Maybe your friends with kids will use this vocabulary. And also, just a heads up, this is a very useful expression to have in your vocabulary in a business context and an everyday context. Just a heads up. So notice, just a heads up. So that as you can hear it a little bit voiced sound right before the up, heads up, just a heads up, heads up, heads up. Just a heads up that Cindy has a play date at Ashley's tonight. So it sounds like Cindy and Ashley are little kids, maybe 10 years old and younger, and they are going to play. So when you're older, you just hang out with your friends. Teenagers don't play. Teenagers hang out. Let's hang out tonight. That's what teenagers do. Little kids, they play. So that is the verb that you can use with little kids. Okay. I don't know the exact age, but maybe 10 years old and younger. Now, a play date, this is a noun. So a date is, if it were just a date, maybe John and Mary have a date tonight. That sounds romantic. They're going out for a romantic purpose. A play date simply means that Cindy and Ashley are going to play together as little kids. Now, generally, parents will arrange this because the parent has to drive the child. The parent has to make sure that their schedule allows this play date. So generally, it's something that parents arrange. And then as you get older, of course, you arrange time you spend with your friends. Okay, it's not exactly a sleepover. So if it were a sleepover is when Cindy is going to spend the night at Ashley's house. So she will bring her pajamas. She will bring maybe her sleeping bag, and maybe she'll bring some of her favorite toys, and she will spend the night at Ashley's house. And then her mom or dad will pick her up the next day. Okay. But a play date, it could be for 1 hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be an entire afternoon. But if it were a sleepover, they would say sleepover. So it's not the same thing. A play date is a short time spent together, and a sleepover is spending the night at someone's house. Eman said, when the parents take their children to play with their friends. Exactly. Now, just a heads up. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. You can use this in the business context, in a social context as well. So just a heads up, you are giving someone advanced warning, basically. So I might say to my husband, just a heads up, I'm going out for lunch today. So I'm letting my husband know in advance I won't be home for lunch, because maybe I make him his lunch, or maybe we usually have lunch together. So this information will help him plan his day. So this could be a father saying it to a mother. It could be a mother saying it to an older child as well. Just a heads up. So just a heads up, we signed a new client. So you are letting someone know of information because it in some way is important for them to know. All right, so maybe you can share a heads up as an example as well. So maybe you could say to me, just a heads up, I won't be at the class next week. So you're just letting me know in advance. So if you're always in the class, I won't be surprised when next week I'm like, where's Sahar? Sahar's always here. Where is she? But she told me this week she won't be there next week. Just a heads up, Jennifer, I won't be in the next class. I'm going on vacation, for example. So it's a very common expression you can use in your day-to-day life. Just a heads up, just a heads up. Yeah, you can think of it as a soft warning, or for your information. I'm sharing information with you that I think, you should be aware of this information for whatever reason. Somehow this information is important to you in some way. So it's okay. A reminder means that I previously told you the information. But if I say just a heads up, it sounds like I'm telling you for the first time. So it's not a reminder. So Sahar could say today, just a heads up, Jennifer, I won't be at your class next week. But that's 7 days from now. That's quite a long time. So maybe the day before the class, Sahar sends me an email and says, "Hey, Jennifer, just a reminder that I won't be in class." So it's only a reminder if she previously told me. So here, Tarkumbar said, "Just a heads up, I'll be going out later today." Yeah, exactly. You could tell your boss, you could tell your friends, you could tell your family, you could tell anyone. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. Yes. Yeah, basically you're making an announcement, but an announcement sounds very formal. So just know it's not a replacement for the word announcement, but you can certainly think of it in the sense that you are sharing information that is important for someone to know. Yeah, a very formal way. So this is very formal. Please be advised that. It's certainly husbands and wives would not use this with each other. Friends would not use this with each other. I certainly hope you as students would not use this with me because it sounds very formal, very impersonal, but the meaning is the same. Please be advised that. Exactly. Okay. All right, everyone. What about our next time? So remember, we're in the category of parenting, being a parent. So maybe you turn to your husband, your wife, your sister, your mother, and say, "What time is soccer practice again? What time is soccer practice again?" Everyone, what is the purpose of the word again in this sentence? Who knows? Who knows? What is the purpose of again? Hmm. What time is soccer practice again? Who knows it? I want someone to give the answer. Oh, I know this was from the last category, but as I'm waiting for someone to explain why I included again, just a heads up, the boss is in a bad mood today. This is perfect. This is a great example. Definitely coworkers will say to each other, just a heads up, the boss is in a bad mood. So you're giving them advanced warning. So they know, oh, okay, well, maybe I should avoid the boss, be really polite, compliment the boss, or change my behavior because the boss is in a bad mood. So, really nice example. Okay. Yeah. So, the purpose of again, to repeat, you can think of it as that for sure. Lucia, repetition, exactly. More time, exactly. So this means I already asked you what time soccer practice is. I asked you this exact question. Maybe it was 10 minutes ago, and you told me, but we have this expression in one ear, out the other when information does not stick. So if you're at a social event and someone introduces themselves to you 10 minutes later, you don't remember that person's name. So we say in one ear, out the other. So maybe I asked you 10 minutes ago. Maybe I asked you a week ago, but I asked you previously this exact question. And now I'm asking you the same question again. What time is soccer practice again? So you could use this for any context. What time are we meeting again with a friend or in a work context? What time is the client getting here again? So you add again at the very end of whatever your question is. What time is the client getting here? But you add again just to let the person know, yeah, I know, I already asked you, I forget. So they don't say something like, I already told you that. So they understand that you are asking the same question again. You're repeating the same question. So, for sure, as a parent, I'm sure a lot of information needs to be repeated because parents have a lot going on. They're dealing with many different things at the same time. What time is soccer practice again? What time? So notice that you only need to pronounce one T. What time is soccer practice again? Practice again. So this practice, it ends on an S. So you can hear that S when you say again. Practice again. Practice again. Practice again. Okay. Excellent job, everyone. How about this one? Did you check Ollie's homework? Did you check Ollie's homework? Okay, let's focus on that pronunciation. And this one might be easy to understand. What is the meaning of the word check in this? This is a verb, to check. So what's a synonym or what does it mean? And yeah, stay away. What time is live English direct again? Exactly, exactly. What time is the class again? What time is the class again? What time is JForrest lesson again? Yeah, exactly, exactly. Very good, very good. Did you check Ollie's homework? Did you? So notice you'll hear a J sound when it's in connected speech and connected spoken English. Did you? Did you? Did you check Ollie's homework? Ollie's homework. So notice there's a possessive. Ollie is the name of a person, a male name, and the homework belongs to Ollie. So that's why it's Ollie's homework. Yeah, and this means to do, did Ollie do his homework or not? Yeah, making sure Ollie did the homework or his homework. So you need either a possessive or article in front of homework. Verify, that's a great way of thinking about it for sure. Yeah, verify, see if it's okay. Exactly. So if you check something, you confirm it's done, you verify it's done, you see if it's okay. So, yes, Ollie did his homework, but I can tell he didn't do it correctly. He didn't follow the instructions. So maybe I'll help him make sure he does the homework correctly. So see if it's okay. That's a great one as well. Ah, Massey. What's for dinner again? I'm sure I remember being a kid and saying this to my parents all the time. What's for dinner again? I told you 10 minutes ago we're having chicken. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, Ollie is the name of a kid. Very nice. This could be a short form. Maybe the kid's name is Ollie. On the birth certificate, it says Ollie. It's also possible it's a short form. So the full form could be Oliver, and then the short form could be Ollie. But it's absolutely possible his only name is Ollie. All right, everyone. I'll say it one more time fast. You can repeat after me. Did you check Ollie's homework? Did you check Ollie's homework? Homework police. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's what Ollie's thinking. Uh-oh, it's the homework police. For sure. Okay, let's move on to our next category, household problems. Are you experiencing any household problems right now? If you are, share one of your household problems in the comments. And here are some. Thankfully, I'm not experiencing this. The dishwasher is leaking. The dishwasher is leaking. So if it's a problem, I'm going to say it with some annoyance, or frustration. The dishwasher is leaking. So this one's pretty easy if you know what leak means. So what does the verb to leak mean? And notice that pronunciation, we have that long E sound. Leak, eek, eek, leak. Now it's in the present continuous because it's taking place now. The dishwasher is doing this now. And yeah, Sahar, you need a plumber. We need a plumber. Can you call a plumber? Did you call the plumber yet? Okay, the dishwasher is leaking. So, of course, the dishwasher is the appliance. That's the category for dishwasher, washer and dryer, fridge, stove, oven. We call those appliances. But we also call small items like microwave, blender, food processor, toaster oven. We also call those small items appliances as well. So sometimes you'll see them use that terminology, large appliances, small appliances, but they're all in the category of appliances. Yeah, Freya, dripping. Exactly. So water is coming out of the dishwasher, or perhaps it's coming out of the pipe that connects the dishwasher to the water source. So there could be a pipe. So the pipe water could be dripping from it, or the actual base of the dishwasher water could be dripping from it as well. Okay. Oh, a fan does not work. That's a good household problem. Yeah, your pipe has a hole for sure, and then the liquid comes out. The liquid comes out. Exactly. Water is dropping out. Very nicely done, everyone. I'm glad everyone knows what this means. Woohoo! Okay, the dishwasher is leaking. You don't want that because you have to call a plumber. Oh, the washing machine is out of order. Out of order. Yeah, generally we use this in a more commercial context. So if you go to a laundromat is the location where there are many washing machines, and then you pay money to do your laundry. And then you might see a sign on one of them that says out of order. But generally in your own household, it wouldn't be the most common to use that terminology. The AC is broken. Oh no, exactly. The AC. What does AC stand for? Who knows? The AC is broken. To be broken. Excellent job. Stay away. Okay. How about this one for a household problem? The power went out for over an hour this morning. Yes, an AC stands for air conditioner. Excellent. Air conditioner. Way to go, Dorothy. Llama. Woohoo. Good job, everyone. The power went out. The power went out. Went out. So this T can be very soft. If you say went out, you can, but then it forces you to take pauses between them. So it's more common in spoken English to say the power went out. Went out. So you just really turn that into a flap T so you don't hear it. The power went out for over an hour. Over an hour. So remember, hour, the H is silent, which is why we have an, because an is used with when the noun starts with a vowel sound, not spelling, but sound. So said together, it's an hour. An hour. So you can hear that N in front of hour as well. An hour. An hour. This morning. Yeah. So when the power goes out, it means there is no electricity. No electricity. So notice it's the verb to go out. To go out. And then you conjugate your verb go. And then in this case, it's in the past simple. The power went out. Went out for over an hour. So for an hour, but if you say over, it means more than. So it could have been an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, for example, for over an hour. And then when, it was this morning because it's in the past simple. It could have been yesterday or last week. All right. And Trucker Martin said, I am blessed. The power didn't go out. So remember, your verb is go. And then in the past simple negative, you would say did not go out. I'm blessed. The power didn't go out. So I can stick with Jennifer's lesson. Well, I am feeling blessed about that as well. Okay. Yeah. The electricity is not available for more than an hour. Exactly. It's dark for sure. For sure. Okay. A clogged toilet. That would be a household problem for sure. A clogged toilet, a clogged sink. Okay. How about this one for a household problem? This could also be a workplace problem. My printer ran out of ink in the middle of printing my presentation. So here we have the phrasal verb to run out. And then when you include the noun ink, you need the additional preposition of. So my printer ran out of ink. Ran out of ink. Ran out of ink. Out of ink. Out of ink. So for this of ink, we can hear vink. We can use a V sound to connect them. Out of ink. Out of ink. Out of ink. Out of ink. My printer ran out of ink in the middle of printing my presentation. Okay, so you're printing. Maybe it's a 20-page presentation, printing, and then page 8 stops printing because, yeah, you can't print any more papers because the cartridge is finished. Exactly. The ink is finished. Exactly. So if you run out of something, it means you transition from having something to not having something. So exactly, stay away. The printer doesn't have more ink. Yeah, you need to replace. So you don't need it unless you put cartridge in parentheses to let us know what the it is, but you would just say you need to replace it or you need to replace the cartridge. The cartridge was empty. Exactly. So the cartridge became empty in the middle of, so during the printing. Okay. Excellent job, everyone. So how about this one? Oh, we have another phrasal verb, to act up. Now, this could have definitely been a phrasal verb with in the parenting section as well. So what does this mean? The oven's acting up again. Now, notice here, I did not form a contraction between oven and is, but even when we see them not as contractions in spoken English, I'm still going to form that contraction. And I said, the oven's acting up again. The oven's. So I just add the S to oven. Ovens. The oven's acting. So because that S is on ovens, we have the S and then acting. The oven's acting. The oven's acting up again. So who knows what this means? Yes, Rod. It means not working properly, not working well. Yeah, not acting properly. Exactly. Not necessarily out of order. If something is out of order, it's not working, it's broken. But if something is acting up, it's working, but it's not working the way it's supposed to. So right now, if I could say, oh, my mic's acting up, maybe sometimes you can hear me and then other times you can't, or the volume is going really loud then really quiet, or sometimes it's very clear and then other times there's a lot of static. But that's not the same as my oven isn't working. My oven, well, you can say that as well, but my microphone isn't working. My microphone is broken. My oven isn't working. My oven is broken. So if I had to change it, I would say my oven isn't working properly. My oven isn't working properly. It's working, but I turned it to 400 degrees and it's still only 200 degrees. Or I turned it to 200 degrees and it's 400 degrees. Or I only wanted the top element, so the heating at the top, we call that the element. I only wanted the top element to be on, but the top and bottom are on. So it's not working properly or the way it should. Now, I said this could have been in the parenting section because this is commonly used. Oh, the kids were acting up all day. So they weren't behaving well. They were misbehaving. So if kids act up, so in school, you're supposed to sit and listen to the teacher, right? So if the kids are acting up, it means they're running around, they're talking to each other, they're scribbling in their notebook, they're not behaving in the way they're supposed to behave in the specific context. So yeah, they're behaving badly. They're behaving badly. So this would definitely be common with people and with objects. So maybe your phone is acting up, a specific app. So if you use Spotify, for example, or whatever email platform you use, you can say my email's acting up. Spotify is acting up, is not behaving properly. All right, how about this one? We need to replace the washer and dryer. We need to replace the washer and dryer. So notice this two can become a very unstressed ta. We need ta, need ta. So when I go need, when I push out the sound, it's going to be the T sound. We need to replace the washer. So this and can just become an washer and dryer, washer and dryer, coffee and tea, cats and dogs, washer and dryer, dryer, washer and dryer. Yeah, trucker, it cost me an arm and a leg again. Exactly. So washer and dryer, they are large appliances. They're generally expensive appliances. Remember, appliance is the category. So if it costs you an arm and a leg, it means it's very expensive. It's very expensive. And yeah, if you have to replace it, it means you need to buy another one. So the existing one is broken or it's acting up. So you get rid of it and then you put in the new one. So you buy another one. You buy a new one. Exactly. You need to buy a new one. Yeah, you need to change them. So to replace, you have one object and then you remove it, but you add a new object. So that's the same as change. Exactly, to change. Yeah, because it's impossible to fix the current ones. And I would say ones because there's washer and dryer. So they're technically, sometimes they can come as one appliance, but it's still two objects. So that's why I said ones. Yeah, washer and dryer should be changed. Exactly. Very nice. All right. Ooh, someone actually made a comment about a fan not working, but this one, the fan's making a weird noise. The fan's making a weird noise. So here, notice this apostrophe S. This is for the fan is because this is in the present continuous. is taking place now. The fan is making, so the fans making, the fan's making a weird noise, a weird noise. So weird noise. So when I'm in the position for the D, weird noise. I just come out and I pronounce noise. So I say it without taking a pause. The fan's making a weird noise. So you could also say, maybe you could say the fan's acting up because it's not supposed to make a weird noise. So it's possible that you could say the fan's acting up. Or maybe there's just something stuck to it that's causing a noise. And weird, strange, unfamiliar, unusual, bizarre, native speakers really like using the word weird to refer to all of those. So you might say, oh, there's a weird smell in the laundry room, or there's a weird smell in the basement. Okay. Yeah, it could definitely become dangerous. So that's why you need to resolve these household problems. You need to look into them. And absolutely you could say strange sound. And yes, the apostrophe s is for is because it's in the present continuous. So the verb is make. Something or someone makes a noise. So a teacher could say to the kids, "You're making too much noise." You're making too much noise. You're being too noisy. So if you use the verb be, you would use noisy, noisy, because you need the adverb. You're being too noisy. You're making too much noise. So they're the same. Yeah, and you need to replace the fan. It's acting up. It's been acting up all week. All right. Well, we don't have time for the next one. So, something to look forward to next class. But I will stay for a few minutes of Q&A because I did this last time and students seem to like it. So, I'll stay for a few minutes. And if you have any questions, it can be what we reviewed today, but it can be about anything. So, just as long as I can answer it quickly, just ask me a question. Weirdo. Okay, so yes, weirdo is very commonly used, but it's not used to say the fan is making a weirdo noise. That wouldn't work. Weirdo is a noun. Weird is an adjective. So the fan's making a weird noise. But I could say, I don't know. I'm just going to pick a person. I'll use myself. Jennifer's a weirdo. Now, a weirdo, it's kind of it is an insult. It's in an insult. But we use this casually with our friends. I might say, "Why are you being a weirdo?" So, to be a weirdo, this means you're acting weird or acting strange. But if you just describe someone as a weirdo, like let's say I'm a new coworker on the team, and then someone says, "Oh, that new coworker, Jennifer, she's a weirdo." That's not very nice. Like that's an insult. They don't like me very much. But if you say to your friend, your family member, your significant other, stop being a weirdo, that could just be fun, lighthearted. In the moment, they're acting weird, but maybe it's for a specific person or a specific reason. Okay. Let me see if there are any questions that I can easily answer. I like this one, Trucker Martin. I'm not a fan that the fans make an unusual sound. Yeah, it's cute because if you're a fan of something, it means that you like it or support it. So I'm not a fan of fans making unusual sounds. Okay. What's the difference between weird and cringe? That's a good question. Everything really depends on context. So, hmm. Well, weird means strange. So that's strange. Cringe is something that, so it's like, it makes you go like this, like, oh God, that's maybe uncomfortable or awkward, but weird could just be unusual. So I might say, everyone at work wears black because that's just the dress code. But then Jennifer always wears pink. That's weird. So that's unusual, that's strange. But if they say that's cringe, it's more insulting. It sounds like my actions are a lot worse. So if they just say, oh, that's so weird that Jennifer wears red or pink. So it's unusual, it's strange. That's cringe. It means like Jennifer's behavior is inappropriate. It's making me feel uncomfortable. But weird can also imply that. So generally cringe sounds stronger and more insulting than weird. But it depends on the context and it depends on how you deliver it as well. Okay. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, for sure. I think I'm a weirdo as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Why are you acting like that weirdo? Yeah, exactly. You can say that. Oh, right. I do my best to be a weirdo. See, exactly. People like being different, unusual, strange. Pronunciation is that in fast speech. Okay, so I'll give an example sentence. Is that your car? Is that your car? Is that your car? Is that? So you might hear like a little bit of a voice on the is that, is that. But you won't hear the t at the very end. Is that your car? Is that your car? Is that your car? Yeah, quirky, strange, unusual. Exactly. Quirky sounds a little more positive. So if you were describing someone in more insulting ways, like, oh, she's a little quirky, she's a little weird, she's a little cringe. So it's like least insulting, most insulting. So quirky, weird, cringe. Okay. Oh, foreshadowing practice. My live lessons, I have a lot of anyone that says in the live lessons that say listen and repeat. I think on my YouTube channel, you have to go into a separate category to see the live lessons. And then for my regular lessons, my playlist that says listening exercises. I think it might say like advanced listening exercises, the name of the playlist. So find the playlist that says listening exercises. Those are excellent. Yeah, you can use cringe to describe clothing for sure. Creepy. Creepy is someone's behavior that makes you feel uncomfortable. And there are different degrees of creepy. So it can make you feel uncomfortable in a scary way, but not where you actually feel threatened. Like if you're watching a movie and they're doing something and maybe someone, like I don't want to give some weird example, but maybe someone is putting like nails under their fingers. I don't know why. I just thought of that. Anyway, I would say like that's so creepy. I can't watch that. So it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I'm at home, I'm watching TV. I know I'm safe. There's no real reason to be scared in that way. But specifically women can use this a lot to describe behaviors from men. So if they say comments to you that make you feel uncomfortable because they're talking about about your appearance in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, you can describe a person as creepy. And that can be more of like an insult and a more serious accusation. So it can be used in different degrees, but something that makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. Okay, beard. So ear, you take ear and add a D, eared, eared. Okay, so make sure, just get that sound first. So take ear, then add a D, eared, eared, eared. And then you can add the B at the beginning, beard. You know what I thought of? Instead of using ear, you could also use beer, like the alcoholic beverage, beer, ear, beer, and then with a D, beard, beard. When you're learning pronunciation, even if it's a very short word like beard, don't think about it as the full word. Think about it as individual sounds. Practice sounds. You don't have to start from the beginning. Start from a sound you recognize and then add on a sound that comes before or after, but you do not need to look at the entire word. Pronunciation is sounds. So just learn the sounds and then get comfortable with the sounds. And then after you're comfortable, you can turn the sounds into a word. I will be doing another live this time next week. So on, what would that be? April 29th at 10 o'clock Eastern time. I think it's 10 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. All right, everyone. Awesome job. Yes, I'll just do this one and then we will wrap up. Choir. Yeah. So a lot of English words have weird pronunciation. So there I'm using weird in a not like, it doesn't mean cringe. It doesn't make me feel, uncomfortable or anything. Just strange, weird pronunciation for sure. So it's a K sound at the beginning and then choir, ire, quiet. And there's like a W, like choir, 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 choir. Exactly. Yeah, if something's creepy, it freaks you out for sure. That's a good meaning of it. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the class today. Just a reminder that you can get this free speaking guide. Remember, you can get this free speaking guide. Remind your friends that they can get this free speaking guide as well. Just go to my website, jforrestenglish.com/free guide. And if you like this lesson, you want me to make more just like this, then like the lesson. Make sure you subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson and put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments as well. And absolutely, let's call it a day. I feel like we learned a lot. We reviewed a lot. Now it's time for you to review this information, practice it, do some exercises, do some repetition. Woohoo, Sahar likes it. You're very welcome, Dorothy. Hidaki likes it. Ahmad, welcome from Senegal. You're very welcome. Priya, itchy nose. Lama, Horatio, woohoo, Ahmed, Francisca, beautiful name. Dorothy, you're very welcome. Sahar, you're very welcome. Pa. All right. You're very welcome. I skipped some questions either because they were too difficult to answer in just a minute or because I didn't see them. So if you saw what I see, the comments go like this. They go really, really fast. So most likely I either didn't see it or I saw it, but I didn't want to answer it because I thought it would be too difficult to answer. or I didn't think it would be something that would benefit all students to know. I don't know. Different reasons. All right, you're very welcome. Woohoo. Okay, everyone, let's end it on this beautiful butterfly, and I will see all of you next class. Bye.